guys, welcome back. So obviously this video is about dating in Korea and finding men, and this is going to be part of a series called Dating in Korea, I guess, but this first video is about how to meet guys, and the second video will be after you've met them or after you know how to meet them, advice for how to go about starting something or talking to them, or just advice in general, because there's just so much to know about dating abroad. And anyway, I'll save that for the second video. And then the third is going to be like a story time, because I do have a lot of experience in this. This is my social calendar that I kept while I was in Korea. Look how cute the fruit stickers are. And I'm not going to show you the individual pages, but I did go on a lot of dates. I mean, like average 2 a week until about mid-April, when I actually got like super jaded from it all and gave it a rest up until I met my current boyfriend, Andy. So the third video segment I guess I'm gonna do is just gonna be story time and just me telling you my experiences, because if you're in Seoul, you might have similar experiences, and it's just fun to listen to anyway. And at the end of that video, I have one mega super, like almost disastrous story time for you guys. Because, spoiler alert, fuckboys exist everywhere you go. Just because Korea is known as a nice place and everyone's polite doesn't mean jerks don't exist. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about just where to meet guys. I do want to front this with one piece of advice, and that is, I believe it's okay to study abroad and go to another country and go to Korea hoping to date and meet guys and maybe have a consistent boyfriend. That's fine. I consider that very benign, but you need to not fool yourself and be honest with yourself with not expecting it to happen. Like, you can hope, but don't mask it by calling it hope. Really just don't set that up to be an expectation, because it might not come true and then you're left disappointed. So really don't expect anything. And then know what you want, because as I said earlier, fuckboys do exist. So if you're just the hookup, once and done, one night stand, like you're just here to have a good time kind of thing, you're gonna be looking at different resources. So let's get into my little list of where and how to meet guys. Number one is going to be language or cultural exchange. And this can take place so many places, and there's Facebook groups and Kakao groups. There's a lot that take place in bars, in restaurants, at schools. You can join clubs, you can find like groups that go to cafes, and there's just, if you're in Seoul, there's a ton of this going on in Hongdae especially, I think, and it's a really great place to go because it's a huge group setting. I think the times I went out, it was always 3 or 4 of us, or 5, 3 to 5 of us, but you go out with a bunch of like your friends and you sit down and you talk to people, and you can, like, all genders go. It's not just only girls go to meet only boys. You can go with whichever friends you want, and you sit down and you're talking to girls and guys and you make friends out of it. And, you know, I knew quite a few people that, you know, exchanged numbers and they started talking to the guys that they met from this. And it's just an easy way to meet people and then maybe, you know, become friends, start off on that level and let it progress to something more. Number 2 is going to be apps/online. And huge hitters for this are HelloTalk, Tinder, Meef, and 1km. So on the side where you're more interested in getting to know someone are Meef and HelloTalk, which are marketed as language exchange apps. And actually in HelloTalk, you only upload one profile picture and you're not allowed to click to enlarge it, because like if you do, it'll send a message saying, this is not for dating, this is not a dating app, this is just to get to know people, like, for this, we will not let you enlarge pictures. But at any rate, it's a great place to meet people and get like genuine like conversations going right away. I will say I had a lot of run-ins with guys that were creepy, that completely disregarded the purpose of HelloTalk and were immediately like, let's meet up, let's hook up. I've had to block people. There are lots of creepy guys on HelloTalk, so be careful, and that's gonna go into the advice video. But HelloTalk and Meef are just like places where you can definitely find guys. I have gotten lots of dates off of HelloTalk. It's a great place to meet people, and it's very benign if you're talking to the right people with the right intentions. Tinder and 1km are, Tinder obviously is for people with more intentions towards hooking up. And so 1km is known as like, you're only there to hook up. But Tinder, I admit I had one. Some of the profiles in Korean Tinder is lit. I lived for Korean Tinder because half of the profiles are funny as hell. My favorite was this guy on a rooftop at night holding like two split halves of a watermelon and like one of his sleeves was missing. And there was like his friends in the background like, so you come across really funny profiles, you come across people you know, people you go to class with, which is just awkward but funny. And then you come across like the very serious hot profiles and you're like, this guy is like a bodybuilder, I'm gonna hit this up. And then you come across the guys that you kind of think are catfishing, and it's just a whirlwind experience. Korean Tinder is just a joy. I did meet quite a few guys through Tinder as well, and once again, I'm gonna reiterate, I'm not the like hookup type. I was the type to like sit down and have a conversation and get to know someone. A couple of the connections I made through Tinder did last, and one guy in particular became the almost disaster story I have for you in story time, so we'll get to that later. But anyway, if you're looking to meet people through apps, HelloTalk is probably your best bet because people, at least a lot of people, are there with good intentions. Tinder is just a lot of fun regardless of what you're looking for. 1 Kilometer is good for just hookups, and then Meef is another language exchange app. Not as good as HelloTalk, but it's a good place to just kind of like look through guys and pick who you want to talk to and get to know people. My third place to meet guys is the probably most obvious choice, and it's just outside. And I'm going to include clubs with this. So when I mean outside, I literally just mean on the streets. I was approached quite a few times on the streets. I was always with a group. I was never out alone, and guys would still come up to me. Most notably on the streets in Hongdae and in an arcade in Shincheon were the places where guys would come up to me most often. So even while you're just out and about, if a guy thinks you're cute, they might approach you, and that's just definitely a chance encounter kind of scenario, but it does happen. And then clubs, it depends on what kind of type of girl you are, again, if you're more interested in like the hookups or whatever. So going to clubs, meeting guys, some of them won't talk to you, they'll just like go up and immediately start like being physical, which is like weird. The guys you meet at clubs aren't necessarily going to be the type that want to go home with you right away. My one friend where, you know, going to clubs was her primary way of meeting guys, she never went home with them, but she still went out other places with them and she kept their information and she met up with them later, and she had a lot of great nights and great stories just based off of guys she had met at clubs and kept up with. Another good way to meet guys is at school, although it depends what school you go to. I went to Iwa, which is an all-girls school, so obviously my chances are going to be much smaller than if I had gone to Yonsei, which is bi-gender. So, you know, obviously school clubs are going to be a great way to meet guys. If you're in a dorm that allows both like male and female to be on the same floor, every other floor, it's a great place to run into guys in classes. So it really just depends which school you go to. And again, clubs is a great choice, especially if it crosses in between schools. Like I was in Seoul Korea Club and I was in Shincheon Group 3, and it was primarily Iwa and Yonsei. You could meet someone that you might have more serious intentions for out of clubs like this. It's absolutely a possibility. And my last one is just gonna be mutual friends. And this can really mean anything. It can mean you make like a Korean friend and they have other Korean friends and you meet up through that. Or one of your other international friends met someone on HelloTalk and like she's not interested but you are, so you like all three go out and hang out together. And it's just not as hard as you think it is. Guys are interested in dating, especially if you're in Seoul. It might be a little different in the countryside and I don't have much experience with that, so please remember that my point of reference is Seoul. Guys are going to be interested in foreign girls. They might not necessarily go up and talk to you, but they're going to be interested. Be careful, and I'll get to that in the advice video again. So just without getting into too much detail about too many things, just your top 5 places to meet guys in South Korea if you're an international or studying abroad student are going to be language or cultural exchange events, and these take place in any number of places from bars to cafes to school clubs, and it's a great place if you want to go as a group with a bunch of other people and get to meet a bunch of other people in a big communal, you know, group setting. Second is going to be apps or online, and the number one choice I'm going to say for this is HelloTalk, since it mixes language exchange with, you know, just meeting people. And then I do definitely recommend Tinder just because it's so much fun, even if you're not the hookup type. Third is just going to be outside in general or at clubs. Fourth is school, depending on which school you go to and through school clubs. And then fifth is just through mutual friends. Whichever way you go, guys, please just know yourself, know what you want, be smart, be sensible, and don't let anyone take advantage of you. Please be safe, guys. I mean, there's always going to be language and cultural barriers. Please just stay true to who you are and your values and your morals and your beliefs, and don't compromise anything for a guy, and don't let yourself get fooled or played. I guess I'm getting into more advice stuff, which is hard to do, but in terms of meeting guys, those are the 5 best places or best ways to do so. And I hope this was helpful and kind of shed some light on stuff and encouraged people. So thank you guys so much for watching, and look forward to the next 2 segments of the series, which are advice and story time. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.